Summer is here, and that means trips to the beach, days in the sun, and plenty of Carolina blue skies. It's also the busiest season for buying and selling homes, so it's the Sharp Mortgage team's favorite time of year. Are you thinking of buying a home this summer in our beautiful area of the Triad of North Carolina? Well, look no further than Highlands Mortgage, where exceptional service meets unwavering dedication. They understand that purchasing a home is more than just a transaction. It's a milestone. Their team ensures your experience is smooth, responsive, and genuinely caring from start to finish. So why buy a home this summer with them? Well, you get personalized customer service. They pride themselves on offering great customer service tailored to your unique needs. Their responsiveness is unmatched. They're always just a call or email away, ready to promptly address any questions or concerns. And of course, you'll get expert guidance. You can rely on their knowledge and over 20 years of experience to navigate the often complicated world of home buying with confidence and ease. Summer's the perfect time to find your dream home in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, or anywhere in the North Carolina Triad. Let the Sharp Mortgage team guide you every step of the way. With their caring and responsive mortgage team, make your home buying journey this summer memorable. Just call 336-575-9448 to get started. 336-575-9448.
All right, out there, party goers, welcome back to the galaxy's most average pop culture podcast. This is Zero Dark Nerdy for all your entertainment news, notes, and so much more. Brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs, and of course, our good friends here at Sailfish Comics. 3 locations in North Carolina, one right here in Greensboro across from Best Buy, one in Winston-Salem, one in Concord. For any of your comic book and, of course, action figure needs, please be sure to check them out. And we cannot wait to bring you this latest episode coming your way right now. And today we have the one and only Cindy, a.k.a. the Yummy Geek from Instagram. She has one of the most entertaining and creative IG pages out there when it comes to cosplaying and cooking. Cindy, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, but I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining us. So when I first came across your IG page, I just thought it was interesting, the fact of combining, cosplaying as well as cooking. And as over the years, been following your page, been blowing up. You've been going to a lot of events. I think last year you got to actually go to like the Flash premiere party where you got to meet the person at the time that was playing Supergirl. Well, what was just your inspiration behind starting a page that was able to combine, 2 of my favorite things, cooking, baking, well, three, cooking, baking, and cosplaying?
I actually started with just a foodie page. I think at the time it might have been around 2015, 2016. The whole taking pictures of food was blowing up on Instagram, where you would just see, pictures, because at the time there were no reels or anything like that. And there was a foodie that I followed. Her Instagram page was Fat Girl Hedonist. And I love what she was doing. She was putting up recipes that were really good recipes. She was going to local spots. And I was like, all my husband and I do is go out to eat. We love to eat. That's like our thing. We watch movies and we eat. We watch movies and we eat.
Yeah. Sounds like my wife and I.
I'm like, I'm already taking pictures. I'm just not posting anything because I would love to pull up and be like, oh, you guys have to try this. This is awesome. You have to go to check out this place. And so, I kind of got inspired and I decided to do that. At the same time, I thought, I love to cosplay. I started cosplaying around 2007.
Okay.
Maybe like a year after my husband and I were dating. He was the one that introduced me to cosplay. He used to go to conventions with his friends. And at the time, this was 2006. I believe he started in 2006. It wasn't as big as it is now. I mean, yes, there were conventions, people would dress up, but I feel like there was a huge shift during the whole MCU thing where it just became this popular thing for everyone, all different fandoms. And around 2007, I went to my first convention with him. I didn't know anything about cosplay. It was literally a last minute. I did Tifa Lockhart. Last minute Tifa Lockhart. He was doing Kakashi. And I went and I loved it. I fell in love with the whole concept of cosplay. I stopped doing it right around the time where I got pregnant with my daughter. And by the time I had her, I decided to take out a cosplay page where I would just do like little cosplays. And it was just a lot to handle 2 different pages of like food.
Right.
I'm like, and it got to a point too where I would go to these restaurants and I'm taking pictures and I'm like, this looks like what everybody else is doing, which is fine. But I just wanted to do something a little bit more my style.
Yeah.
And around 2018, I started Food and Cosplay. It was very casual. I decided that it would be a fun way to showcase local restaurants dressed up as a character that would make sense for that particular food or dish.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the first big official one I did was when I cosplayed Linda from Bob's Burgers.
Nice.
And I went to the local burger place. And I love the fact that at the time, the chef and owner was also a fan of Bob's Burgers. And he cosplayed as Bob. So when I got there, my husband was the one kind of like recording, doing pictures. The chef was so into it. He took pictures with me. He let me go to the kitchen. I was able to kind of record, how everything worked back there.
Yeah.
So I was really grateful for that. I was able to try food, showcase the food in a fun way because I was in character. It's Bob's Burgers. I'm showcasing their burgers. So it started like that. I did Chili Willy for a pancake food truck, which now is like a full-blown restaurant. And then the pandemic happened. So it kind of slowed it down and big time. And it wasn't until maybe a year or so ago that I started to kind of pick it up again, I need to do this again. This was so much fun. I love combining because I love both things, it's fandom and food. So why not do fandom and food? I mean, we got to eat, right?
Yeah.
People go to conventions and the first thing they complain about is how they haven't eaten all day. And
Yep.
but why not? Stop, eat, and then continue doing what you're doing. It's the best part of like the whole experience, So that's pretty much where that whole food and cosplay concept came out of.
I love it. Now that you mentioned that, have you thought of and have you done like a segment or anything like that about snacks that you can bring to a convention that you can kind of hold on to where you don't have to wait in line for the concession stands and do everything else? Like, I think that would be a very cool, little episode to do.
I'm glad you bring that up because I haven't been to a con. I think, again, because of COVID, we went to, there's a big one here in Miami called Florida SuperCon. Mm-hmm. And we went one year. It was very casual. We took our daughter. We were all dressed up as the Punisher. We cosplayed the Punisher. It was a lot of fun. And then our plan for 2020 was to do something, big this time because we would have been able to plan more. And then the pandemic happened. This year, I'm finally going to start going back to conventions, SuperCon being one of them. And I'm going as a content creator.
Okay.
And that was going to be one of my things, like literally maybe like 2 weeks before the convention, kind of have a little segment that said, hey guys, you can pack this in your little bags or you can, and I know that I remember last year, they are getting a lot more local food vendors to be a part of the convention.
Right.
So that's something I do want to highlight while I'm at the convention. Like, hey, stop by here, support this place, get a little snack there because it is. I never had that issue because my husband and I always carried food, or we would always make sure to go to the lobby of the hotel and we're like, we're going to eat, we're going to drink. This is not, we need a break, Yeah. But I feel like people need to be reminded. So I'm glad you brought that up because yes, that is something that I'm planning on doing, as well as, like I said, highlighting whoever's going to be the local, food vendors this year at the convention. I'll be highlighting their areas as well.
Yeah. The latest series from Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, stars David Oyelowo as legendary lawman Bass Reeves and follows his journey from enslavement to law enforcement as one of the first Black U.S. deputy marshals west of the Mississippi. Lawman Bass Reeves on DVD and Blu-ray includes over 2 hours of special features and exclusive interviews. Yeah, and that was one of the things that drew me to your page, besides just the cosplaying and food, is the fact that you have such respect for your local businesses, because that's what we're all about here at Zero Dark Nerdy, is giving shout outs to, nothing against like Applebee's and all the other places, but it's great to highlight your normal business, or like your local businesses. Because without them, I mean, you don't have that sense of neighborhood. You don't have that sense of togetherness.
And I feel like in Miami, it's the mom and pop shop scene is just kind of starting to get noticed. Like, I'm originally from New York, and I feel like in New York, there's a lot more of that sort of sense of community when it comes to food and now Miami's really kind of picking up when it comes to that. So yeah, any chance that I get to support a small business, a local business, people that are, like I said, they're that pancake food truck, they started with a food truck and now they have a full-blown restaurant, which is amazing, or people that have been doing things from their house, you pick up and now they have food trucks, or now they have, so it's little things like that I'm like, okay, those are the places that I truly want to highlight. I still like my Krispy Kremes. I'll still, support all these other places. But if there's a local place that I get like an idea pops into my head, I'm definitely gonna support it.
It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. We recommend you begin with a local financial advisor. And that's Jennifer Johnson of Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit 3magnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. Retirement, financial planning, and investments. Securities offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors and Cetera Advisor Networks are not affiliated. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.
Yeah, love it. So, I mean, speaking of dressing up, I've seen you do a ton of cosplays. What are just some of your favorites, period? Like just your go-tos that, let's say a top 3 by chance.
Ooh, top 3. Okay, so
I know it's hard to choose because you've done so many.
So Linda is definitely one of them. And I know it's a very basic and simple cosplay, but the thing is, because her character is so full of life and she's got this huge personality and she's funny, she's a mom, I relate to her a lot. That's probably my top.
Yeah.
I haven't 100% finished Knuckles.
Okay.
But I want to say that's probably going to become one of my top 3 for sure. I'm super excited for the series. So that's definitely going to become a top. And I'm going to be doing some recipes from the Sonic cookbook that my husband got me.
Awesome.
So there's a couple of recipes that are, every character has like different recipes and Knuckles has a few. So I'm definitely going to tackle those in Knuckles cosplay. And then for sure, Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker to be more specific, from Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. So those
Jake
probably,
Johnson version.
Yes. That has been my favorite don't get me wrong.
You pull it off well.
Andrew.
Yeah.
But Peter B. Parker is my favorite. Personality-wise, I can definitely relate to him. So that's been one of my top cosplays.
I've related to Jake Johnson since Nick Miller in
Oh my God, yes. So, that during COVID, this is a little bit getting off subject, but during COVID, he had this thing where he's like, because people were struggling with mental health and all this stuff. And he wanted to do something to kind of give back. And he's like, the first people that send me their emails, I'll send you guys a message as Peter B. Parker. He sent the message. I have that message in my email. When I saw it, I was like, there's no fucking way. Yes. And it's him. And I don't know, please, Jake Johnson, if you're watching this, if you watch this, I don't know if you were drunk when you were doing it, but it sounded so slurred. Like my husband and I couldn't stop laughing. But pretty much the email was like, who's the fan in the house? I'm like, well, we all are, but my daughter really loves, Spider-Man, and she loves Into the Spider-Verse and Miles Morales. And so he said her name in the audio. It was an audio thing that he did. And it's him. It's 100% him. I was like, I cannot believe he actually did this. And yes, that was one of the highlights of COVID.
Wow.
That he actually actually went out of his way because I was like, he's not really gonna do this.
Right.
No, he did it. He did it. So that was, yeah, it was, and he did it as Peter B. Parker. Like he introduced himself as Peter B. Parker, but he sounded like he was just like, hey, I'm having fun. It's all good. Everything's gonna be fine. So that was, yeah.
Oh,
That made me love him
great.
even more. I'm like, yeah, this guy is awesome.
I'll tell you what, let's do two. Like, what's a quick meal as a mom that's like your go-to? And then with just what's one of your favorites that you just like to do?
So for me, it's a little difficult because my daughter has severe food allergies.
Okay.
So as much as I wish I could make her the stuff that I love, I kind of have to, I always have to make her separate meals.
Yeah.
But the easiest thing is she loves, which is so gross, she loves this like vegan white cheese.
Okay.
With noodles, which is actually what she's eating right now.
Yeah.
And it's garbanzo noodles.
Okay.
So I use that with avocado butter since she can't have real butter. And the cheese, I'll sometimes cut up some spinach, add fresh garlic. I'll use plant cream and I'll add that all to her noodles, add the little vegan cheese on top. She's allergic to dairy. That's why everything is, you know, it has to be vegan to be safe in that sense. Yeah. She's not vegan though. She eats chicken and steak and all that. But when it comes to cream and milks, everything has to be vegan. So that's like the noodles is the quickest, easiest thing I could do. Okay. Because I don't really have to think about it. It's just chopping a couple of veggies, putting them all in the, you know, noodles, and then adding the cheese. That's it. She loves that. And then for me to make, it's gonna sound gross because it's a very Colombian thing to do. Mm-hmm. So my parents are Colombian. I grew up in a very Colombian household, and one of the things that we would eat as a quick meal was French bread, like French baguette, sliced up, like spaghetti. Yeah. Ketchup, mayo, and chicken. So the pink sauce. Yeah. Pink sauce is a very big thing in Colombian dishes when it comes to like our hot dogs and, you know, our burgers. Mm-hmm. And I only know Colombians do this. I don't know anybody else that does this, but that was one of my favorite meals. Even when I was pregnant, I always crave that. It's quick, especially if you like buy the rotisserie chicken already made. Like if you don't want to cook the chicken, buy it, shred it up, make the pink sauce, put it all together. That's it. You're done. Get some French bread and butter, and it's all good.
Oh my goodness, that actually sounds pretty good. You're gonna be hungry over here. Because you know, I came up in a Puerto Rican household, so we did the ketchup and mayo, and we use that for our surillos, which is pretty much like Puerto Rican hush puppies. But we roll them up a little bit different than they do here in the South. The South, normally they come like in the shape of a ball, but while we make them, you know, we're just rolling them up like this, so they're like that. And bring home the all new movie Mean Girls. Buy it on 4K UHD and digital right now. New student Katie Heron is welcomed into the top of the social food chain by a group of popular girls ruled by Queen Bee Regina George in this new twist on the modern classic, Mean Girls. Buy it on 4K and UHD and digital today and get over 30 minutes of fetch bonus features. Available at participating retailers, PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. So, you know, being a pop culture podcast and being that the incredible chef that you are and cosplayer, I did want to talk about, because something that we have not done here on the show is really talk about movies and TV shows about food or about chefs or about the service industry. So I'd love to start with you as far as, you know, what are some of your favorite shows or movies just based either on cooking or just the service industry in general, and then we can just kind of go from there.
So movies, there's so many. I grew up watching movies. I love movies. Love watching movies that I probably shouldn't be watching at the age that I was watching movies, but
same.
But I love that. I think it you know, really ignited that passion for movie, you know, for all kinds of movies, all genres. But for food movies, oh God, Simply Irresistible, Chef with Jon Favreau. Chef is probably one of my favorite Jon Favreau.
Love
that
movie.
But that movie, I mean, I know it got hype, but I still don't think it got enough the credit that it really deserved. That movie,
I agree.
Phenomenal. Not only did it make me hungry or whatever, but it really made me respect chefs, like everybody, line cooks. Like it's this whole sort of culture when it comes to preparing food, when it comes to the people that are coming to the restaurant, when it comes to food critics, all that pressure, all of that. And then just like going back to simplicity, which is pretty much what the movie is that he goes from being miserable working at some high-end restaurant to just getting a food truck and making sandwiches, like that's huge. I love Chef. Chef is one of my favorites. And I know it's going to sound stupid, but I remember when I watched this movie in theaters, Ratatouille.
Oh,
I know it's ridiculous. But that one really sparked the whole, I want to cook.
Yeah.
Because as much as food was like the center of everything growing up, when it came to gatherings, when it was always the center of everything. I'm grateful that we never missed a meal. I'm grateful that it was always like, every time there was food, it was always happy memories.
Yeah.
Chef, Simply Irresistible, which I also think is very underrated because it is a romantic comedy. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I think it was Sean Patrick Flannery is one of the main characters, Sarah Michelle Gellar. But I love that movie so much because in the movie, it highlights that whatever she's feeling while she's cooking, the person that's eating it, the people that are, whoever's coming in is feeling that exact same emotion that she felt as she's cooking, whether it's passion, love, or sadness, or just like, I love that movie. And I still think it's also very underrated. There was one that came out recently, and now I cannot believe I can't think of it, but it's with Ralph Fiennes. It's like
The Menu.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much.
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
And it highlighted that whole pretentious attitude of people who think that, like, he was over it already. He was over the fact that it wasn't that people were appreciating the food anymore. It was all about taking pictures and being first, and I'm getting to the most popular place, and I mean, the movie's hilarious. Now, I'm not saying that the killing is, but it's hilarious. Like, I get what he was trying to do and how he was tired of everything. So that definitely became one of my top food movies. I know that one's a lot newer.
Yeah.
Julie and Julia, the Julia Childs movie with Amy Adams. I really like that movie too. Because I know Chef is always at the top of my mind. Chef is without a doubt one of my like top. Like everything about that movie. It's going to sound stupid too, but I recreated the grilled cheese sandwich that they made. I don't know if you remember. And I posted it on my Instagram, and Chef Roy Choi actually liked that post. And I was like, oh shit, yes.
Wow.
Which I love, because that's why I love that movie so much too, is that Jon Favreau took it so seriously that he was trained by Chef Roy Choi. And then he continued. I started watching the
Chef Show
series. Yeah. Where they were recreating the recipes of the movie. Mm-hmm. And that was something I wanted to do. I didn't have the time. I think I've only done the grilled cheese as of now, because it's just the quickest, yummiest, and just easy to find ingredients type of thing. But yeah, when that happened, I was like, oh my God. I remember telling my husband, I'm like, Roy Choi liked my shit. He liked it. He liked the grilled cheese. That was so exciting for me.
Just from Waiting Tables, I really love the movie Waiting. Ryan
I
Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. Not Jake Long. What is his
Justin
name?
Long.
Justin Long. Yeah.
So when that movie came out in theater, I worked at a Barnes and Noble has a cafe in it.
Yeah.
And one of my first jobs, I worked at the cafe. Not quite a waiter, but you're still serving people. You're still taking orders. You're still, doing all this stuff. And I remember as soon as we got off the shift, we all went as a group to go watch Waiting. Yeah. And then we had late dinner at the time. I don't even think they exist anymore, but we went to a place called Bennigan's, which was very
similar.
I was like, are they mimicking Bennigan's? Because it's the same thing. Love that movie so much. It's still something that my husband and I will randomly watch because it's hilarious movie. Amazing cast. The story is great. I agree with you 100%.
Who's ready for movie night? Our friends at the Ginther Group Real Estate are proud to sponsor another season of innovation and cinema at Bailey Park in downtown Winston-Salem's Innovation Quarter. The next film is the Super Mario Brothers movie on Friday, June 21st. Bring your chair or blanket to Bailey Park for a great night of cinema from Aperture and beverages and food from a variety of local vendors. Pre-film fun begins at 6:30 p.m. and the movie begins at dark. These magical movie nights are made possible by the Ginther Group, the real estate experts we trust and showcase right here on the Triad Podcast Network. Check their social media for info on each upcoming movie night. And for your real estate needs, call 336-283-8689 or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning. Whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
Yeah, if you're listening or watching, have not seen Waiting yet, Ryan Reynolds, one of his first kind of movies out there. Justin Long, just like you said, I can't remember her name, but she plays Simone on Entourage, but fantastic cast. And we worked at this restaurant called Jack Astor's, which was kind of like
awesome.
Yeah. And to us, I was like, this is Jack Astor's, the movie right here. And especially at the time it came out, because we were working there, and then we got off work and watched it. And I was like, is there like secret cameras around filming us? So it's just great comic relief, and really shows and it all takes place in one night, one shift. And it nails it to a T, from the front of the house to the back of the house. The scene where the couple comes in at the very end when they're almost closed. Oh, I feel for that scene. Dane Cook's in it. I mean, it's gold. In it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Anna Faris is in it. That's well.
Right. It's a great cast. I feel like a lot of people, and I remember, I'm thinking about it now, whenever I bring the movie up, a lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
They do not know.
Very, very kind of like before a lot of people's times. And it was when I was coming up along the lines of like Boondock Saints and a lot of almost straight to DVD movies. This one actually hit the theaters, but definitely didn't get enough love.
No, I don't even think it's advertised as much or anything.
No. I just recently saw this, and I don't know why I waited so long. Burnt. Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah, Burnt with Bradley Cooper. And that one was super, super intense about him trying to get his third Michelin award. Yeah. Okay. Where he's in, I believe he's in France, and he's had some abuse problems and just trying to get back to being the best and what it takes to be the best. But that one I thought was not really so much. I mean, it was intense, but it shows how chefs can take their job so seriously, and what it means to them.
Yeah, I really do when it comes to restaurants and stuff like that. I truly respect how much work it takes. I mean, you're pretty much living in that restaurant.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure and the anxiety. So I can't believe I haven't mentioned it earlier, but one of the shows that I started watching, maybe like a year ago, I caught up to both seasons. The Bear, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
The amount of anxiety that the show highlights, I feel like, yes, that's 100%. And like I said, I'm not a professional chef. I don't work in a fast-paced kitchen. But even so, when I'm making a meal here just for content, when I'm doing a recipe, I'm like, holy crap, it takes me almost an entire day. It's like half a day of and it's one dish. It's one dish. I cannot imagine that pressure. And I feel like the show really highlights the amount of pressure that these people are under.
Agreed.
Especially because at the end of the day, to me, this is an art. It is an art form. It is a huge art form. And for the people that are really passionate about it, they really want to not just please, but they want to know that they put something out that is just so amazing. Mm-hmm. And the show, I feel like, does a really good job at highlighting. And I've talked to certain friends who are chefs at restaurants, and they say that the ones that have seen the show say that it's exactly that. The amount of anxiety the show gives me, I love it. Yeah. But you feel it. I feel like it kind of gives you a small glimpse of what it feels like to be behind that kitchen,
Ooh, I mean, I still have. I haven't bartended or worked in a restaurant in years, and I still have. They're not even dreams; they're nightmares. Where I'm in the weeds. It's always called being in the weeds, and it's a bar full of people that need their drinks and need their food, and maybe I'm just in my boxers in some of these nightmares and dreams. It's the most random stuff, but yeah, it just happens. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because the Bear was going to be up there. And I was going to say one that I really enjoy. I do love Gordon Ramsay, and I just love Master Chef Junior so much. I love it.
I watch it with my daughter.
Yeah, he just he's able to tone it down in a professional way, so he's not crushing these kids' dreams. And it's just so adorable and so cute. And I think that him and Fox, they really just have it like worked out where a lot of, everything else is pretty much Food Network, where Gordon Ramsay's pretty much just Fox. And anything that he puts out, I will damn near watch.
Yeah, same. So I love Kitchen Nightmares. And it's funny because anytime I'm making something and my husband's like, oh, just do this. I'm like, Gordon Ramsay would not approve. He would tell me that this is a shame. He would tell me it's garbage. He would say some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And the more I watch the shows, my husband's like, you got to stop watching those shows. There's times where I'm like, this is shit. This is crap. And he's like, it's good. I'm like, no, if Gordon Ramsay won't approve it, then it would not be good. It is not good. It is not enough. Or he's like, why don't you do it this way? I'm like, there's a way of doing, like, again, I'm not a professional chef, but because sometimes I really get into like these shows, I start to realize, stupid. Yes, this is for this. This is for that. There's a reason why things are prepped this way. There's a reason why. And so there's times where, again, when my husband is in the kitchen, he's cooking as well. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. That's not right. You're doing it wrong.
So in terms of being able to find you on social media, where can everyone find you at in terms of IG? And your link tree is very impressive. I just checked it the other day. So, drop those links out there so everyone can find you.
Find me on Instagram at The Yummy Geek. I have a TikTok. I really don't go on there too much. I got it out because I feel like that's what the younger people are doing. Right. Cool. I feel like I still haven't been able to figure it out. But I'm mostly on Instagram at The Yummy Geek. If you look at the link tree, you'll see it might be some collaborations for pancake recipes I've done with certain companies, things like that. But yeah, at The Yummy Geek on Instagram is where you're going to find everything. I'm hoping at some point to get a website so I could actually put up more recipes so that people can go back and find and not have to, go through Linktree, just going to the website. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's so much. And I know you said you got SuperCon coming up. Are any other conventions that you're going to be at? And where is this SuperCon going to be at in particular?
SuperCon is in Miami, at Miami Beach Convention Center. It's in July. So very excited for that. It's the first time that I applied as a content creator. A fellow content creator pushed me to do it and I did it and I got accepted. So I'm super excited because I was like, okay, this is the kind of content that I want to do for it. Let's see if they'll say yes, and they did. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. For now, this will be my first official con of the year. Don't know if I'll be going to any other. It's hard, with the kids.
Of course.
It's hard.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us posted on what's coming up next. And you never know, definitely. Hopefully, if we end up going to New York Comic Con this year, we're going to push for you to get on New York Comic Con as well.
Oh, I would love to. I've been telling my husband, San Diego and New York is like, gotta go. We have to go.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. So before we wrap up, I have two questions for you. One food related and one fun related.
Okay.
So while we're on the food subject, and I got to give a shout out to my co-host and business partner, Ryan Saba. He wasn't able to join us today. But this is a question he asked when we first started. He stopped asking it a little while ago, so I wanted to bring this question back. And especially now with baseball season being back in town or being back in season and being that this is a food episode.
Okay.
Do you think is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that because I'm gonna rub that in his face.
No.
So that's my take on it. What is your take on it?
It's not a sandwich because to me, I wouldn't make a sandwich on that type of a bun. Number one, it's not the right bun. It's not the right kind of bread for a sandwich.
Right.
I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure it'll taste, but it's just not the first thing that comes up when I'm like, I'm going to make a sandwich. Let me get a hot dog bun for my sandwich.
Right.
And then a hot dog is literally just, let's say like a sausage, a congealed piece of meat.
Yep.
With toppings. It's not, and the toppings are out there. It's not like slices.
Yeah. It's not in there.
Exactly.
Agreed. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to say there's no right or wrong answer. He thinks it is. I never have, and I never will. And I've never said it.
100% agree.
I'll rub that in him. And then this one we just started asking, and there's no wrong answer here. I'm just always curious to know, who is your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Raphael.
Ooh.
I have a Raphael tattoo on one of the side of my hips. It's a baby Raphael, a slice of pizza. Raphael. 100%.
Love it.
He's got an
that's
attitude,
awesome.
he's cranky. I love Raphael. Yep, won't even hesitate on that one.
I know there was no hesitation there with the shy, and that's right. That's what he rocks, right? The shies, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. No, I think you're the first person to say Raphael, so that's
really.
that's
What does
awesome
everybody
right
else say? I'm curious.
No, just most people Michelangelo. I think there's been one Donatello. I think there's been one Leonardo. But yeah, I don't think anyone said Raphael. So I do plan on doing a collage
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Michelangelo all day just because I just grew up on Michelangelo. I love him. Orange is. I grew up in Syracuse, New York, so we have the Syracuse orange. So it all made sense. All right, party goers, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow Zero Dark Nerdy across all your favorite social media platforms, and most importantly, your podcast platforms. Give us a like, give us a comment, follow the whole entire 9 yards. Give us a rating. We will love you so much more for doing that. But most importantly, big shout outs to our incredible sponsors out there. BetOnline.ag, the Believe Podcast Network, Zibster with our incredibly amazing website. If you're looking for a website that's easy to navigate and easy to update, be sure to reach out to Jeremy and his team over at Zibster. And most importantly, our main sponsor, that is, of course, Sailfish Comics, with 3 locations in North Carolina, 1 in Winston-Salem, 1 in Greensboro, and, of course, 1 in Concord. As always, thank you so much for listening. We truly, truly, truly appreciate the support, and we cannot wait to see you next time. Peace.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.